Welcome to the Modern Marketing Masterclass. Claude Hopkins, who was one of the fathers of modern advertising, he has a quote that really stuck with me. And he says, the only measure of good advertising is whether it generates more money than the advertising costs. It's a very eloquent way of putting it. It's really profitability in a nutshell, but good advertising isn't a really creative headline. It's not a really funny ad. It's not an award. It's not necessarily something that makes you smile or laugh or cry or buy. All of those things are good, and they might be like components to effective advertising. But if it does not generate more money than it costs to produce the ad, to sell the products, and buy the advertising space, wherever you're buying space from, it is not good advertising. So everything about the Modern Marketers Institute is helping you generate profit, money in the bank, when the dust settles at the end of the day from your advertising. Now, in the world of AI and ChatGPT and Claude and Perplexity and Agora and Copilot and Gemini, we're experiencing a tectonic shift in how businesses are doing business, how customers are finding information. And don't worry, in this free trial, in this free membership, we are going to talk about all of that good, current, trending stuff. But if you want to advertise your business on the internet, if you want to sell product, if you want to make money, Google and Meta are still the most important, impactful, effective advertising networks on the planet. As an agency at Venture Media, we're keeping a very close eye on all of the emerging advertising technologies. Grok rolling out advertising in X, Twitter. Great. There's no shortage of ways to advertise your business, from LinkedIn to programmatic advertising to digital out of home to billboards to Google to Meta, Snapchat, LinkedIn. Okay, all of these, Netflix, all of these great utilities, all of these great web-based utilities, they're mostly ad supported, and for a good reason. This advertising can work. But let's just focus back on Google and Meta for a moment, because there's a big lie. There's a big lie that you're told, right? If you look at any of Google's marketing, if you look at Meta's marketing, they show like the really cute brothers who started a treehouse business, and you have like the grandma running her florist, and there's nothing wrong with brothers or grandmas or florists or treehouses. But they make it seem like the playing field has been leveled, that you, with your shoestring budget, your startup product, your brand new iPhone case, your fountain pen, your electric coffee mug, your accounting service, you're just the same as Deloitte, and you're just the same as Bic pens, and you're just the same as Geico Insurance or Amazon or North Face or whoever, brands that are spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars annually on Google, Meta, and all forms of advertising. They make it seem like we all have the same equal opportunity to advertise our business. And that's a lie. Nothing could be further from the truth. Because if one brand is spending a lot more money, willing to buy a lot more traffic, generate a lot more clicks, and they're willing to evaluate lifetime value and lifetime revenue, and we're going to talk about what LTV is and how to calculate it, don't worry. How could you compete? The competitors in an auction, and we're going to talk about the bidding auction, we're going to talk about how bidding and how CPCs and how impressions work across Meta and Google, but the competitors set the price for the auction. It's not Google. It's not Mark Zuckerberg setting the floor for auction prices. It's the competitive dynamics of every single search or any individual scrolling through their newsfeed or stories on Instagram or Facebook that are setting the price that you as an advertiser are going to have to pay. So it is not a level playing field at all. There's a second misconception. So we'll do a little bit of myth busting here to start things off, because it's important, because this is going to be the foundation of the Adventure Media Modern Marketers philosophy towards teaching digital advertising. Because I have one goal. My only goal is that you could leave this content, these courses, going back to what we first said, the only goal is that you can make more money from your digital advertising campaigns. So let's myth bust a little bit. The second one is like, oh, Google and Meta are just trying to fleece you. They're just psychopaths tyrannical psychopaths sitting at the top of their ivory towers and their stacks, doing snow angels on their stacks of billions of dollars. And they're just trying to get you to spend more money until you quit. No, that's ridiculous. Anybody who thinks that is very immature, because a psychopath could fleece the public for a short amount of time, but not for 20 years, because eventually people would realize, oh, this stuff doesn't work. Let's stop spending our money here. So Google and Meta are, and Amazon I would include here, and there's other platforms, but we're talking about like typically the big three. The reason why trillions of dollars annually are spent on their platforms is because a lot of their advertisers are finding enormous amounts of success. And these people aren't stupid. They're not just throwing money at the wall. CMOs of Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 companies are not idiots. They're intelligent people who continue to put money into these platforms. Tens of thousands of small businesses put money into these platforms because they work. Okay, so let's just get that out of the way. They're not, Google and Meta are not just looking to get you to spend an inordinate amount of money until you're broke. Now, the third misconception on the exact other side of the fence, right? So you have people who think that Meta and Google, they're psychopathic tyrants looking to fleece you. And on the other hand, you think Meta and Google are pure moral paragons of virtue who are looking for you to spend the least amount of money, or rather drive the lowest possible CPA for you all the time. CPA is cost per acquisition. We're going to talk about CPA, but it's the amount of money that you spend to sell a product to get a conversion. Okay, so then you have these people who are like, no, Google's going to continue to drive down as much as you possibly can. That's also not true. It's incomplete. Google and Meta and TikTok and Amazon, they want you to be successful. But they don't want you to be as successful as possible. They want you to be as successful as you're willing to be. So if you signal to Google that you'd be happy with a $10 CPA, so for example, you sell custom printed coffee mugs, you profit $20 on every order on average, and you tell Google, I'm happy, all day long, I'll pay $10 for a new customer, which makes sense. You're doubling your income on a sale, and everybody's happy, right? Now, let's say Google or Meta can get you those conversions for $5. They are not incentivized to. If you're signaling that you're happy with $10, economically speaking, the best outcome for everybody is you to pay $10, Google to charge you the $10, even if you might have been able to find some efficiency to drive down that CPA further. Okay, so 3 key fundamental myths that we've busted here a little bit. One is Google wants you to succeed, but Google wants you to get the lowest possible CPA, cost per acquisition, that you are willing to pay. 2, Google and Meta and all of these other leading advertising platforms are legitimate and they work, and they are most likely the best possible place for you to spend your next advertising dollar to grow your business. 2. And 3 is that it's not a level playing field. You have to be intelligent. You have to understand how the platforms work. These are big pieces of software. There's a lot going on. It's confusing. And what we're doing here, why you're watching this course, is because we're going to distill and simplify and show you exactly what you need to know to gain a competitive edge when you're running Google Search, Display, AI Max, PMax, Meta, to really understand how these platforms tick and how these platforms work. We're doing this in a way that's not conventional. I'm not looking to give you an enormous amount of information. Something I say is conventional advertising trading produces conventional advertisers. And this membership does not have a lot of conventional advertisers. And the world has quite enough of those already. I just want to say a word about myself. I'm Isaac Rudansky. I'm the founder of Adventure Media. I'm the founder of the Modern Marketers Institute. I've worked with brands over the course of my career. I've never been to a graduate program in marketing, in data analytics. I learned all of this stuff by trial and error. We now have a wonderful boutique agency with 50 or so employees across 3 offices in the US. And we've worked with brands like Citibank, Forbes, Sports Illustrated, NASDAQ, Hanes, American Eagle. And we've trained close to 400,000 students in 188 countries around the world. And that's as much as I can say to hopefully instill a little bit of trust in you, to follow along, to watch, to take notes. You're going to become a better advertiser. And remember, that means a more profitable advertiser. And profitable is just like a little bit of a nicer word for wealthy, rich, more money in your pocket. That's the goal. This is going to be expert-led training. It's not going to be just me. We have some unbelievably smart executives, senior account executives here at Adventure Media who are going to be leading you through their areas of expertise. You're going to be learning tactical skills, right? So this is not going to be like theory, right? Like how to think. There's a proverb, which you're probably familiar with: better to teach a man to fish than to give a man a fish. But like, I want to just give you a fish. So we're going to give you the fish. We're going to show you exactly what to do very simply. It's not about you coming up with your own complicated strategies, complex problem-solving tactics. That might be for a later time, but right now you need to get into Google, you need to get into Meta, and you need to understand how to evaluate, diagnose, and execute optimizations to generate more profit. Most importantly, I would say, is we offer certifications. And I want to talk about this just for a brief moment. Your badge might just be an image. It might just be a collection of pixels, but it's not. When you put a certification badge from the Modern Marketers Institute on your LinkedIn, in your email footer, on your resume, you're leveling up in a way that you probably don't even fully understand. I've been at this for 10 years, 12 years, and not a week goes by without getting an email from a student that tells me that they got a new job, they got a promotion, they're generating millions of dollars in annual sales when before they were completely stuck, that their careers completely changed. And not because they had 6 hours to show their boss or their manager all of their skills. They had a Modern Marketers Institute certification, which broadcasts to the world that you're not only an effective, intelligent marketer, but you're a marketer that understands the primacy and the importance of profitability. You know your numbers, you know what the core goal of an advertising campaign is, and you know how to execute. So take a look at our certification tracks. I think you might find some really interesting things there. In this institute, you're going to find over 200 hours of on-demand training. You'll find tons of 5-star reviews, a bunch of different certification tracks. There's a lot of areas for you to poke in and poke out of, but there's no pressure. This free course, the free content is, in my view, immensely valuable. We offer it because we want everyone to be involved and to be able to gain from this community and to interact with each other. I know that 5 to 10% of you are going to purchase a certification track. We have the data, so it's a revenue stream for us, and it's important to say that. This is a revenue stream, it's a profit stream for my agency. And because of that, we're incentivized to invest. We have a whole beautiful studio here. We're shooting video. It costs us money. Creating new content costs us money. And we know that we're only going to earn your business and continue to offer the most premium digital marketing certification program in the country if we continue to invest and we bring our A game with every course, with every content that we produce. In the first module, we're going to talk about how to understand a growth plan that most marketers skip. It's an important foundation, and I'll see you there.